So I had a really good time in the corporate world with regards to the social aspect of my life. But from the professional aspect of my life, I felt I wasn't being challenged enough. I wanted to take up more responsibilities. I definitely, thought it would be nice to have a better paycheck as well. And, I was in one of those I want to go conquer the world kind of moments, right? Somehow my ambitions and the present position that I held at my workplace, they didn't match. And at that point, I thought maybe if I did an MBA, I would be able to get into a very senior position, right? So I prepared for the GMAT and I got a 770. And then I also got into the exec MBA program at Stanford. But for a few personal reasons, one of which was funding, I couldn't take it up. But that was also the same month in which I started August Academy. I heard from Stanford around the 4th or 5th of January 2013. And I had put in my deposit for the office maybe around the 25th of December or something, right? So I just put in my deposit and then 10 days later, I got back from Stanford. And, it was very sad, but I had to let go of it at that time. So in 2013, we started as a test preparation center. We help students prepare for the GRE and the GMAT and occasionally the SAT as well. We got some very good results with regards to the scores. By the time we moved from Jan 2013 to September, October 2013, we got to the point where a lot of our students wanted help with their applications, right? And not just that, there are people who took the tests on their own who also came to us for help with their applications. And that is when we got into the consulting aspect of this process. From 2014, we've almost been pure play consulting. And even within consulting, almost exclusively for MBAs. Occasionally, we do master's, PhD, and other degrees as well. But 98% of the work that we do is helping students get into the top tier MBA programs. So that's the journey of how we started. With regards to what kind of results that we've had. So every year for the last few years, we've had several top 20 results. And I mean, when I say several, I mean like 20 or 25 top 20 results every year. We don't work with many students. Now, within the US, I've had people getting into Harvard, Chicago Booth, Kellogg, MIT, Duck, Darden, Duke, Ross. The only two colleges we haven't cracked so far are Stanford and Wharton. Both of these colleges we've had interviews, but not beyond the interview stage. But other than that, every college in the top 20 has been cracked. In Europe, all the top 5, INSEAD, London Business School, Oxford, Cambridge, HEC, and IMD as well, top 6. And also the Spanish schools, IE, IES, SAD, all of those. In India, we've had people getting into ISB, IIM, ABC. So that's also there. And in Singapore, we've had people getting into NUS and NTU. So regardless of which territory you pick in, we've had our students being placed in some of the top tier universities in those regions. So that's our track record so far. I'm someone who does not believe in just sticking to what has happened in the past and, relaxing in that glory. I think our skill and our talent is evident only if we can stay current and, continue to demonstrate the same results in the years to come. And I believe you guys are also looking at getting into some of the top tier programs. So that is the context of our meeting today. Today is a very open question and answer session. So there's no agenda other than this. I wanted to introduce myself and my company, that's done. Now, I'm going to leave the room open and people can ask me their questions.
Hey Karthik.
Hi, Ujaswan. How are you? Good evening.
I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah. So Karthik, I had a question around the R1 applications itself. So, say for instance, I start preparing for the application. I mean, I start working on my applications from next month, 1st of next month. So,
August, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So how many applications do you think I should target for R1 for B schools? And I'm looking to target some of the early app rounds for some of the schools. So ideally, what number do people actually go for in the R1 round? Actually?
See, with regards to Indian candidates, we usually have people applying to about, what should I say, 5 to 8 colleges. That's the standard process. Okay.
Okay.
Now, with regards to how much of it is feasible in R1, that depends on the timeline and how fast you are able to execute.
Right.
Okay. When somebody works with us, we ask them to get started with a foundational phase where they will share with us stories about their life. And people take about 10-15 days for that, right? So if you start August 1, then by Indian Independence Day, August 15, you will be done with the writing homework. Yeah. By that time, we should have some understanding of your shortlist also. By August 20, let's say the shortlist will also be done. At that point, I would need about 15 days for college number 1. So September 5. And maybe about 12 days each for college 2 and 3. So from September 5, we move to September 17 and then September 29. This is a relaxed timeline. Okay. Now, there are certain optimizations that we can make as and when it becomes necessary. We can try some of those. And if the quality is maintained, we will ensure that we are on the right track. But what happens is sometimes people need some time to write properly. And in such a scenario, then this is what is the ideal timeline for you.
Got it.
Any other questions? Just
one. Nope, not at the moment. Got it.
Okay, sounds good. What do you do, by the way?
I work in the analytics field. I work for a company called PlanView. I just started a month back. Earlier on, I was with Exxon for a good 4.5 years.
And with Exxon, what were you doing? Also data analytics?
Yes, I was in data analytics.
Okay, so you have about 4.5 years of experience. Are you done with the GMAT?
Yes, Karthik.
Okay, good. So you're in a good position to get started. If you're interested in working with us, please send us an email and then I will tell you how we can move forward.
Sure.
Does anyone have any other questions?
Yes. Hi, Karthik.
Hi, Ushman. I remember we had a few email exchanges.
Right. So I have a couple of questions actually.
Okay, go on.
So the first one would be, are the English proficiency tests like the IELTS or TOEFL mandatory for us, Indian students?
Most colleges will not require it, but some colleges do require it. Two notable names are UCLA Anderson and UC Berkeley. Both of these are the University of California system. But these are within the top 20.
Right.
There could be some other college in Europe also which may mandate it. So it's always better to take it. It's not a very difficult exam anyway.
Fair enough. Yeah.
You'll spend about 15-20K. I think that spending is there. But in terms of time to preparation, not more than 3 or 4 days is required for anybody who's been in a CBSE English medium kind of background.
Right. Great. Thank you for that. I had another question. So I've done my management studies in my undergrad. So that was a 3-year course. So is that going to be a hindrance? I'm sorry.
This is a BBA, is it? BBA
it's equivalent of a BBA, yes.
Okay. No, that should not be an issue. You can apply.
Right, great.
If a college mandates 16 years of education, then it may become difficult. But as far as I know, most colleges in the top 20 are okay with 3-year degrees. For MBA alone, the same university will not be okay with you for a master's program if you don't have a 4-year degree. But for an MBA, they may be okay.
Okay. I just had one last question, sorry. So this is specific to my profile actually. So I have a 740 on my GMAT and I have actually also taken a year's gap during my working experience, years. That was due to COVID and everything. I thought I'll pursue my MBA in India and it just went down because of COVID and I couldn't find a job. So you had mentioned in the mail exchanges that we had that it might be a bit of a stretch to aim at M7, right? So what I'm considering right now is I'm contemplating whether or not to re-attempt the GMAT, or I don't know whether that's a wise use of my time right now instead of working on my applications.
Okay.
So is there any advice on that front?
See, for an M7 as an Indian applicant, nowadays you need a 750 or a 760 even. Okay. So that is on the one side. but it's a one-way filter, okay? In order for you to consider those programs, you need this score at the minimum. But the fact that you have the score does not mean you will automatically get a seat, right?
Of course.
So I'm hoping you're following the full argument here.
Right.
That depends on the rest of your profile. But with the 740, it is very rare for somebody of an Indian origin to make it. Yeah.
Great.
I'm not saying the probability is 0. You will not know unless you try. And so always, I think this is true for everybody. My advice has to be interpreted with one viewpoint. Okay. When somebody is working with me in a consulting engagement, first of all, I don't know what the deliverable is. For some people, it is the experience of applying top-notch schools and trying their chance. For some people, it is about getting into a good MBA program, with the end result being, I will actually be able to start college, right?
Right.
We cater to both segments of people, but we need to have a open conversation about what your objective is and how we can work towards your objective, right? The bottom line is, even though I may say certain colleges are easy or certain colleges are difficult, I don't make the decisions. The AdCom makes the decisions. So it may very well turn out that I say something is difficult, but if you had applied, you would have gotten. And then again, something I think is possible, we try and then it may not happen also. So just keep those caveats in mind. 90% of the time, my recommendations are on spot. 10% of the time, it goes even outside of that, right? So if you want to try to M7 colleges, as long as you can allocate the money and the time for it, by all means, you should try. Okay. Now, as a consultant who caters to a population where 80% of the people want something closure at the end, it's not something I may recommend in the first place. You get what I'm saying, right?
Right. Of course. Yes. Right. Thank you for that. And also about the gap year, could you just tell me how much would it impact my chances of getting into a school of my liking?
When was your gap year?
2020, just the COVID year, essentially.
Okay. As long as you have a reasonable explanation for it, it won't affect it. Outside of the gap year, you have about 4.5 years of experience, right?
Right. I do.
Yeah, that should be fine. And you're currently employed in a job that is commensurate with your experience. That should be fine.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Does anybody have any other questions?
Hi, Karthik. Santosh here.
Hi, Santosh. Nice to meet you.
So I was thinking of applying for a couple of, around 6 colleges in the R1 round. So
okay,
what should be the mix of dream colleges? Because since we are applying in R1, should it be more of dream colleges rather than competitive or safe, or should it be a somewhat equal mix?
We've done both strategies.
Okay.
It all depends on your appetite for risk tolerance. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you can take negative results without becoming too emotional about it, then you can go for the stretch colleges in round 1 and the safe colleges in round 2. The idea here is if you get in, you will get into your dream colleges. That is the positive side, which means you can automatically put in the deposit there and then you will not lose any money. And there is no need for you to work in R2, right? Your work will be done in December. You don't carry any more stress after that. Okay. Now, there are some people who may not be comfortable with the negative result. For such people, applying to a low ranked set of colleges in round 1 and making sure that they have something in the bag, that is recommended. And then after they get their admit result, maybe even a scholarship result, then they have nothing to lose. They can go for a higher ranked program in round 2. But if you get into the higher rank program in round 2, definitely that getting in part is a good news. But then you will have to lose your deposit at the other college where you have paid the deposit. So that is one thing that you will face. So I think it all depends on how these situations play out in your mind. But either of these philosophies are perfectly fine.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Any other questions?
So Karthik, around this question regarding deposit, so what the percentage of the fee is the deposit actually? Is this a substantial amount or?
Foreign colleges will ask you to deposit somewhere between $500 and $2,000.
Okay.
Surprisingly, ISB will ask you for more.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe 2-3 lakhs, I think, or maybe 5 lakhs. I don't.
Okay.
All right. Anybody has anything else?
Karthik, I have a follow-up question. So
Yes, Santosh.
generally, whenever software engineers apply, generally, like I have 3 years work ex. So there are not many opportunities in the software industry to get a leadership role within a 3 years span. So do most of the applicants try to bring out leadership roles in outside office, like for example, in an NGO setting, or do they try to pick up instances from within their work experience and
Everything happens. Yeah.
Okay.
So definitely, when you pick up an extracurricular activity, it is very, you may get the opportunity to demonstrate leadership because a non-profit organization does not get a lot of volunteers. So whoever comes, they offer more and more responsibility positions to them, right? So that definitely is there. But even within work, it doesn't always have to be managing a team. It could be managing a project. It could be a client engagement, right?
Okay.
You could be the point of contact with the client, and whatever the client says filters through you only. So which means you automatically become the leader, right? You could be responsible for setting a strategic direction to a new thing, right? A new project at work. Or a new area or a new vertical where your company should invest its resources. Maybe you'll do the legwork for that. In an R&D kind of setting, maybe you can innovate and develop new concepts and products. So all of these are also leadership opportunities. It doesn't have to be purely just leading a team.
Okay. Okay. And also, Karthik, I've recently started the applications of certain top colleges. So I see there is a section where we can upload certificates, non-academic certificates like from Udemy or Coursera. So do you think if we have started the applications recently, is it a good time to invest in some of the shorter duration courses, like courses which have 4 to 5 hours of video work? Should we spend time on that, or should we rather put that focus on the applications?
So there's no harm in spending time there. It may not carry much weightage in your application. So don't do it with the intention of it helping you with the MBA application process, because that may not necessarily happen. Yeah.
Okay.
But in general, it will give you knowledge. That knowledge will give you perspective, and that perspective will help you with your MBA application. Okay.
Okay.
Now, should you do it this year or next year? That really depends. If you have time and you don't know what to do with that time, then this is one of the best things you can do. Okay.
Understood.
If you're really stretched, then you can avoid it.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Karthik.
Anyone has anything? Sharat or Rishikesh, Shubham?
No, I'm just here to, just listen to other people's questions because I'm just going to start off with my process.
Okay.
I've been at thrice already, and I've gotten very poor scores for an Indian engineer male applicant. So yeah, I just wanted to hear what other people have in mind before starting off with my application process. So I'll get back to you with more questions once I start the process. And thank you for hosting this every Monday. I mean, 2 weeks. Yeah.
Sure. What's your background, Sharat?
So I work in a cybersecurity firm. I work as a business analyst at this moment. So at this moment, I am actually, managing all the sales of the company, wherein people have to, let's say that they have anything to present for the product, then they come to me to ask for the reports. So that's what I do at this moment. So I'm a business analyst, and my last GMAT attempt was a very bad. I had a very bad experience. I got just a 650. So yeah, just looking to improve my score. I also have some NGO experience. I've been volunteering for the last 6 years. So yeah, I think that might add some weight to my application.
And how many years of work experience do you have?
4.
Okay, 4 is good. That's a good place to start. The GMAT, you can sign up for some classes or something, and then I've seen people improve from 650 to 740 even. Not saying everybody is able to do it, but some people are able to do it.
Yeah, and I'm definitely not targeting, the M7 or something of that. So my aim is to, target colleges which are between T15 and T25, mainly looking at Emory and my comps.
Okay. So then I think 730 would be very useful. So you can keep that as a target in mind.
Right.
And then, if it works out well and good, if it doesn't, then you may have to go lower down the ranking a little bit. I do believe that any college in the top 50 in the US is a good college. It's just the network changes as you move higher up the rankings, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I have come across a lot of posts where, people discuss them graduating in an MBA in a T50 college and then, competing with M7 people for jobs and, joining with people who are who have graduated from M7. So that gives me some hope, definitely. So yeah, I am definitely looking forward to it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sharad. Shubham, do you want to introduce yourself? Maybe?
Sure. So I have a bachelor's and a master's in petroleum engineering. I'm currently working from Houston, Texas. And I'm actually taking Karthik's help for my application process for fall 2023. So currently, I'm targeting some 5 schools for round 1. It's somewhere in the bracket of top 15 to top 20 in that range. So yeah, I mean, it's been good so far. I think Karthik, one question I did have for you was, so how do people typically apply between round 1 and round 2? So I know that you answered part of this question early on, but is there much of a difference between round 1 and round 2 in terms of how the adcoms look at applications? I think that is one of my questions.
So the adcoms will look at your applications the same way. It's just that they're crafting this diversity proposal, right? It's a multi-axis kind of cube that they're working with. One axis could be gender, right? Male and female, and alternative genders as well. The other, not just alternative genders, there's like a whole rainbow there, right? But the other axis could be industry, right? Oil and gas, consulting, financial services, product engineering, technology, and all that. A third axis could be nationality, right? So these are 3 axes which we can see, but you can also construct 4th axis, like how many years of experience do you have? 5th axis, like leadership, and so on and so forth, right? So they're trying to find somebody in every cube, right? So they would want an Indian girl who's in the technology industry and has 5 years of experience, So that could be one definition of a cube, right? They may want like engineer from Indonesia who works in, let's say something like a Swiggy or whatever. They have a company there, right? Gojek, right? They may want to explore that kind of market. So they craft these diversity profiles, right? So the class, they wanted to have a mix of different personalities. And sometimes what happens is within that bucket, you may have a lot of people. Like the Indian male engineer bucket is very, very crowded. Okay. And the Indian male software engineer bucket is probably the most crowded of all the buckets, right? And there, things like GMAT start mattering. So now, when you look at this, given that you are in a crowded bucket, if you apply in round 1, what will happen is you're looking at a class where all the seats are empty. When you're applying in round 2, you're looking at a class where about 40% has been full and the other 60% is empty, right? And in round 3, you may have 15 to 20% at most, right? So that is what you're contending with. So when you apply in round 1, definitely you have the best possible shot. But colleges now understand that good profiles also come in round 2. So sometimes they may, even though they consider you to be a good applicant, If they think that somebody better is likely to come in round 2, they will waitlist you in round 1, and then they will consider you with the round 2 applications. Okay, so that is also something that happens. So my short answer is, wherever possible, apply in round 1. If you're not able to pull together a good application, then it is always better to apply in round 2 with a good application rather than in round 1 with a weak application.
Right.
One little tidbit that I would like to share is, so far, as far as I'm able to evaluate, the competition this year for round 1 is not as high as last year. So in this year, round 1 may offer better chances. I find it a little difficult to believe that the number of MBA applicants and GMAT test takers itself has gone down in India. So my hypothesis here is, by round 2, we may have a lot more applicants. So make the best out of round 1.
Okay. Yep.
Definitely
Thanks.
for this year.
Yep.
I have.
Hi, Ujaswan.
Yeah. So actually, I gave my GMAT last month. I got a 750, and I have around 3 years of work in software engineering, and a couple of NGO experiences also.
Okay.
So round 1, so my post MBA goal is mostly product management and consulting. So does it make sense to apply to top ranked colleges like Columbia and NYU Stern, whose primary focus is finance? Or should I target more like colleges like Tuck, Darden, which are ranked somewhat lesser, below, but still their primary goal is consulting?
Yeah. I don't think it makes a difference. You can pick whatever school you have a liking for. Within the top 15 to 20, even if some college is renowned for something in particular, all colleges are good for everything, right? So you won't go wrong. You can go to MIT and become a marketer. You can go to Tuck and become a banker. You can go to Yale and become a technology professional. All of these things have happened in the past and will also happen in the future. The chances of you becoming a technology professional graduating from Ross or Anderson is definitely higher, or MIT for that matter. The chances of you becoming a banker is definitely higher out of Booth or Wharton or Columbia or Stern. But that doesn't mean the opposite is not true. So go with whatever you like, have good reasons for it. Don't have irrational reasons for it. Like, I mean, I like the building there, so maybe it is nice. Those things may be not that important, right? As long as the quality of education is good, you can go anywhere.
Okay, that answers. Thanks, Karthik.
Yeah, I think Rishikesh and Komal haven't had the opportunity to introduce themselves yet. Does one of you want to talk?
Sure. I'd like to go ahead.
Hi,
so
Komal.
I'm Komal. Hi. I'm currently a growth manager at Relevel by Unacademy. It's a sister company of Unacademy. So one thing that I do have that can be added to my kitty is that I have seen a lot of journeys within the startup. So for instance, I was part of a company called Tapchi, which got acquired by Unacademy. So I have seen that acquisition phase. Then I have seen the 0 to 1 phase, 1 to 10 phase, and I'm currently working on the 10 to 100 problem.
Okay.
So that is something that I don't know should be added to my resume or like my essays or not, or how do I portray it? Secondly, I have a degree in psychology. So I just wanted to know, how do my chances look? 1, and 2, what all extracurriculars can I focus, or should I even focus in the last leg before the whole application submission time?
Okay. So, I mean, definitely you seem to have done good work. From that point of view, I would say you have a good profile. Now, what kind of colleges you can target and where you're likely to be successful, that depends on the GRE or the GMAT score as well. So that is something that's very important. The next question was, sorry, I forget.
About the extracurriculars.
Extracurriculars, correct, yeah. Are you engaged in any extracurriculars at this point?
At this point, honestly, no. But I've had it before, and I've had it, like, I'm open to any extracurriculars that might drive.
Okay, just think about it like this. In a week, we have 168 hours, right? And let us assume 8 times 12 is what? 8 times 7 is what? 56 or something. Let's say 60 hours. Yeah. So 168 minus 58 is 90 hours, right? 90 hours is what we are not sleeping. Personal time, let's say about 4 hours a day, right? Including watching Netflix and whatnot. That's 28 hours. So take 30 from 90, that's 60 hours. You're expected to be at work for maybe like 40 hours, of which most people may not work productively for more than 30. So that 10 hours is a fuzzy thing. And outside of that 10 hours, you'll probably have another 20, 30 hours, right? So what do you do with that time? So just think about that, do a mapping on a day-to-day basis, just jot it down. Now, it may turn out that you like to read. It may turn out that you are like an Instagram influencer or something. It may turn out that you blog, you like to write, or you play music or anything, or you engage in sporting activities in your society, right? Maybe like you're a baddie player or something like that. Or maybe you're already volunteering time with an NGO. I'm guessing that's not the case because you're asking me this question. People obviously think of those as extracurriculars, but there are a lot of things outside of this which could also be considered extracurriculars. Yeah, maybe you like solving puzzles, right?
Okay.
Maybe you like writing fan fiction for Harry Potter, right? So think about where you spend your time, and some of these activities are genuinely worth writing about as extracurriculars. Maybe you like to travel. Travel could be an extracurricular activity as well, right? So think about all this. Then if you have exhausted the possibilities and you're back to this non-profit kind of space, then, figure out a cause that you are passionate about and get started on it. For some people, it is education for kids. Some people, it is global warming. For some people, it is like helping businesses in Africa, scale to the next level. Any kind of non-profit activity that interests you, right? And preferably don't do it as a short-term thing. Try to find something that you would be happy to engage with over a longer period of time.
Fair enough. All right. Got it. Thank you.
Rishikesh, how are you?
Oh, sorry. So I am here like just looking at all the applicants. So I'm not started at my MBA journey, not even like given a GMAT. So just here to listen others.
No problem. So can you introduce yourself, like share your background?
Yes. So like currently I am working in a aerospace component design firm. So I have a 1.5 year experience in that firm. And before that, I completed my master's in mechanical engineering.
From which college?
IIT Kanpur.
Okay, very good. And your undergraduate?
Undergraduate from College of Engineering, Pune.
Okay. So academically, I think you have a sound background. Work experience, you just have 1.5 years of work experience, is it?
Yes.
Okay. Continue to attend our webinars. I think you still have some time to go. Ideally, I would request you to take up about 3 years of experience before you even start the application process. The GMAT, you can take it in the 1.5 years ahead of you. People spend anywhere from 2 months to 3-4 years trying to improve their GMAT. So there is no limit to that. So, if you have idle time right now, focus on your GMAT. Focus on developing some good extracurricular activities, and also try to get promotions at work. These are the 3 most important things you can do.
Yes, thank you. So like another question is like basically in my firm, what I observed, the like promotion, mostly the promotional timing is after 3.5 years. So like in that case, what should I do? Means to improve my profile. And mostly like I observed that there are very less opportunity of leadership.
Yeah. So leadership, I don't know if you were there for the discussion we had just for 15-20 minutes back. There are different ways in which you can showcase your leadership. Extracurricular activities, that's one way in which you can show your leadership. But even within the company, client management is one way. Project management is another way. Leading a new initiative or a vertical, that could be another one. Sometimes even leading CSR activities, that should also be okay. So these are some of the things you can do.
Yeah, thank you.
Definitely happy to help. Does anybody have any requests?
Yeah, I just wanted to understand how can I showcase my international experience?
Okay. What kind of international experience do you have?
Honestly, none. So that's why I'm a little confused about how to go about it.
Okay, then there's nothing much you can do. If you have traveled abroad for vacations, then you
Yeah.
can list travel as an extracurricular activity.
Okay.
Now, what I tell people is there are some people who travel to like 5 or more countries, especially people who live in Europe, right? It's very easy for them, right? And, in India, for example, we have some large states. I don't know which is the largest state. Maybe UP used to be the largest state. I don't know if it's still the largest state. Karnataka is big, right? Like Tamil Nadu is mid-sized, I would say. But the point here, what I'm trying to make here is going from one place to another within the same state itself is it's a time-consuming journey for us. Whereas in Europe, somebody could be based in France and then they can just get on a train and go to Czechoslovakia and Austria, and within a weekend they can cover like 2-3 countries and come back, right?
Right.
So traveling to many foreign countries, it's very easy for somebody who's in that kind of atmosphere. For somebody who's based in India, it may not necessarily be the case. You may have made 1 or 2 trips. In which case, I would ask you to also talk about local trips that you've made. So travel is an interest, but some foreign countries plus some local attractions, right? Hikes and treks and this and that and whatnot. If you've collaborated with people from outside the country for your work, then you may just talk about where these people are located in the resume, right? That's not exactly international experience, but at least that shows that you've interacted with people from a variety of cultures. So that is also something that you can do. So these are the second best options. The best option is, of course, when you're working abroad. But in the absence of that, these are some options available.
So basically, they're trying to see whether you can fit in with a diverse crowd and actually have that rapport and adapt to that sort of culture?
Something like that. But the honest truth is, I think this is just a extra hoop that they're making you jump through. I think today everybody is comfortable working with international crowd, right? Very rarely have I seen somebody having problems with that. So I think it's just that, so when I was in college in Tamil Nadu, we have this thing where a traffic policeman will just stop you in the middle of the road and ask you to come to the side. Okay. When I was on my 2-wheeler or something. And it's a very frustrating thing. Okay. They'll stop you. They won't tell you why they stopped you. They'll ask you for license, registration. And usually, I was like very cavalier at that point. I wouldn't carry those documents half the time, and sometimes I would carry it. Okay. So when I didn't carry it, he would fine me illegally, of course. I mean, it's not like a proper fine, it's like a bribe. But anyway, I would do it and get away. Once I had my license and I had my registration, and then I was very confident. So when he stopped me, like, yeah, this is my license and this is my registration. Right? And then he looked at me, he stared at me and said, okay, do you have a pollution certificate? Like, no, I don't have that. And then he made me a fine for that. So the point I'm trying to make is sometimes people don't need things, but simply because they want to give you some trouble or they want to select even further, they ask some difficult situations out of you. And that is pretty much where it is. Most people are comfortable working in international cohorts nowadays. But in spite of that, they would like you to demonstrate only because that makes their job easier of selecting from a wide group of very talented people.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. Does anybody have any questions before we close for the day?
Karthik, hi. Sorry, I just had one last question.
Yes, Ayushman, go for it.
So I actually had a startup of my own back in college, which I worked on for like a year. And of course, it didn't do that well financially. That's why we had to shut it down.
Okay.
Right. So when I quote my work experience, I don't really consider this 1 year because I was doing it part-time while it had a decent bit of success. Like we got some brand partnerships and we also had 15,000 odd users. But I don't count this in the 5 years of work experience when I make my claim. So do you think it is fair to add it, or should I just let it be as a side gig that I did as an internship or so?
Yeah, I think we need to have a bigger discussion on this, Ayushman.
Okay.
I can see cases for it being part of your work ex also. I can see cases for it being just an additional bullet under extracurricular activities also. It all depends on how big the company became.
Right. Okay, got it.
Right. So if it was like a hobby kind of thing, then it should remain a hobby kind of thing. If it was actually like the gateway to something that would have been a bigger company, then you can list it as work experience too. But without discussing the details, I wouldn't know what to say.
Of course, great. Thank you. Just a follow-up question here. Is it reasonable to state that my long-term goal is to become an entrepreneur and start my own company? Or is that something that is a red flag for MBA?
No, that's okay. If you say your short-term goal is to become an entrepreneur, then you need to have a reasonably clear business plan. Meaning you need to understand what area you need to operate in, what kind of products are you going to develop, and you go to business school only to develop those skills. But other than that, you're very clear about what you're going to do.
Okay.
If your long-term goal is entrepreneurship, then that's fine. I mean, things will evolve.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
I think Ojaswin had a question, right?
Hey Karthik, thank you. So this question was regarding I had an initial shortlist of what schools I want to target depending on my GMAT score. But then I just wanted to know how feasible they are, and if I were to say improve my GMAT score, then how should I be targeting other schools as well? Okay. So I have a 710 on my GMAT. And I took it up last week, but then I feel that I could have done a little better on verbal, and I'm planning to take it up again maybe in the second week of August. So as of now, I've shortlisted a few schools, which are Fuqua, McCombs, UNC Kenneth Flagger. There's Rotman, and there's LBS and ISP.
Okay.
So I just want to know what schools are, would be feasible for me to apply with a 710 score, and say if I improve by 30 points on the GMAT, then what do my chances look like? And just to give you another background information, I don't have a tech background, but then I've been in the tech field itself for for most part of my career. I finished my graduation from Christ University. I did my BCom honors. I have a specialization in finance and investment.
Okay. How many years of work experience do you have?
Overall, 4.5 years of work with ExxonMobil.
Yeah. 4.5 years with ExxonMobil.
Hi, Karthik.
Yep.
Yeah. Hi, Karthik. I'm just taking Ojaswin's question.
Yes.
So let's see, graduate of Price BCom, 4.5 years with Exxon, and you currently started a new job, I think, right?
Yeah, just a month back.
Okay, that was with which company? Please remind me.
That's a software company. It's called PlanView. It's a project management services company.
Okay, all right, yeah. And you are in a business development kind of role at both of these places, or?
I was in the. I've worked in the analytics field for 2 years.
Got it. Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
2 years, 2.5 years. I've worked mostly in data management.
Okay, so you may be competing with all the techies. Okay. With the 710, probably a college rank 25 to 35 at this point.
Okay.
If you're able to crack 740, then I would say a top 20 should be fine. Top 15 to 20, somewhere in there.
Got
it. But again, I mean, it's like this. I don't make the calls.
Yep.
So you guys, if you feel very strongly about some school that's ranked higher than that, feel free to apply. I always have that liability when I'm working with someone that they should get into some college, and if they don't get into some college, then my reputation takes a hit there. Yep. So in order for me to fulfill my role, I have to be a little conservative, but
yep.
You should also be happy with what you're deciding.
Yep. I agree, Karthik. I think GMAT is quite a big challenge for at least, I mean, not in terms of the difficulty or something, but then when it comes to schools selecting people, I think GMAT is first on their list for Indians, if I'm not wrong. Like the first filter, I'd say.
Yeah, it somehow gets there. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they try to maintain that it is not their first filter and they're agnostic to GMAT and all those things, provided it is above a certain cutoff. The problem is a little bit more complicated than that.
Okay.
It's like we have a lot of very competitive people, right?
Right.
And they say profile is important. They say GMAT is not that important. But even with good profile, we have a lot of people and we have very few seats. So how do you select from all those people who have good profiles? So that is how the GMAT becomes a factor that weighs in. That is inevitable because of a large population. Any other questions? Just
no, that would be it. Karthik, thank you.
Yeah, Karthik, welcome. And do you want to share something?
Hey, hi Karthik. So I have a quick question for you. Still online GMAT, are they accepting or could you?
Yeah, I haven't heard
throw
anything
some
about
light
them
on-
not accepting it.
They're not accepting, right?
No, I haven't heard anything along those lines. So I'm assuming the online GMAT will be acceptable this year as well.
Okay.
Any other questions, Karthik?
Well, apart from that, I have an overall experience of 5.2 as of till date.
5.2 years.
I'm a NET graduate, NET from Jamshedpur.
Okay.
So I have a GRE of 324 and above AWA of 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah, will that suffice? Because as per the chart conversion, I have seen 324 equates to 700 in GMAT.
Yeah, it's roughly about 690, 700. Yeah.
Yeah, will that suffice?
Will that suffice? Meaning it all depends on your objective. With the 324 and the kind of academic and industrial experience, industry, what is your industry?
IT. So I have been into multiple sectors, manufacturing, retail as well. Currently, I'm in IT consulting and services.
Okay. All right. So that may present a little bit of work for us to sort through. Like how do you navigate from one sector to another and what is the connecting thread and why are you moving, right? And that's a problem that you will have to face and it is best to be prepared for that. But let's say somebody with about 6 years, 690 on the GMAT or equivalently 324 on the GRE or maybe like 700 on the GMAT. Maybe you can target schools around the 25 to 35 if you're looking at US programs.
Pardon? Last, what did you say?
25 to 40, let's say. 25 to 40, that may be the range you should look at.
Okay. So I have a total score of 103.
Okay.
Yeah, will that, or shall I need to retake?
So go through UCLA and UC Berkeley websites. They are two colleges that definitely request the TOEFL. The other colleges will waive the TOEFL requirement if you say your undergraduate degree was in English and you get certification from the college. So most colleges should be okay to provide that certification. Definitely an NIT will be useful. Definitely happy to provide that certification. So check with the UCLA and UC Berkeley websites. Look at what their TOEFL cutoff is. If their TOEFL cutoff is 100 and you have 103, no issues. You can go forward with it. Sometimes they have 105 or 110, in which case you'll have to take the TOEFL once more.
Currently, I'm planning to take up IELTS also.
Yeah, first check these two websites and figure out what their cutoff is. If their cutoff is 100, then there is no need for you to take it again.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Ujjaswain is dropping off. Glad to have you in our session and please feel free to join us again in future.
Thanks, Karthik.
Yeah. Does anybody have any other questions?
A short question, Karthik. Should if we have taken CAT previously, should we mention it under academic achievements, or would it be viewed negatively in case we have applied to in other colleges in the past and might have been unsuccessful? That's why we are applying here. Would it be viewed that way, or is it a?
So typically, I wouldn't even want you to talk about your CAT scores unless you're requesting a waiver and you want to demonstrate that, hey, I got 98 percentile on the CAT, so I'm sure if I take the GMAT, I will do a good job on the GMAT, but I'm unable to take the GMAT right now. So this question would have been relevant last year, right? Okay. This year, I think you shouldn't worry about CAT. Don't worry too much about it.
All right, thanks.
I'll take about 5 minutes to walk people through our process and then how we can take this forward, right?
Yeah, 1 minute. Can you throw some light on the fee related part?
Yeah, I'm just talking about that, Karthik. Yeah. So when somebody starts working with us, the first thing is we need to understand their background. So I will share some questions and then I would request the candidate to write some answers. So it will take about 10 to 15 days for this. After that, I'm able to review their content and understand their profile better and suggest a suitable shortlist. This part will take about 5 days. Okay. Then we get started with the college applications. Now, we have multiple tiers of packages. The most commonly signed up for package is something called a comprehensive package. In the comprehensive package, we have a limit of 1 phone call per college. And then in the ultra package, we don't have any limits. Okay, so there's 1 call per week, but other than that, there's no limits, right? Now, how does the comprehensive package work? We will set up a time for our brainstorming call and we will meet at the appointed time. And then what will happen is I will be walking through your life stories. And then on the other hand, every college has its own list of questions. So we'll try to understand which story is a match for which question. Okay. And then I will help you put together a bullet point structure for what your response should look like. And then we will close the call at that point. The agenda after that is you should prepare a draft in your own writing, and then you can share it with me. In 2 to 3 days turnaround time, I will take a turnaround time of 2 to 3 days. I will get back to you with my comments on how you can improve. Okay. And then you can send me another draft. I will send you more comments back and forth. We are happy to do any number of reviews. And sometimes if the story is not coming out well, I would ask you to change the story also. So, we leave no stone unturned unless we get like the perfect output. Okay. So that's how we work on the comprehensive package. In the ultra package, we have more opportunities to get on the phone call. In the comprehensive package, 1 opportunity for the phone per college, and everything else will be purely over email. So that's how that works. Now, in our 5-school package, comprehensive, we have 2 mock interviews by default. In the 3-school package, it's not there by default. We charge separately for it. The ultra, it's only a 5-school package. Again, subject to the limit of 1 call per week. There are no limits on how many interview calls we can take. We're happy to do any number. And for all these packages, we have supporting video tutorials. So about 2-3 years ago, I did a series of Zoom workshops for my candidates at that point. So there's an overview of the application process. How do you write your goals essay? What are the different post-MBA goals available? How do you network with students and alums in colleges? How do you make a good LinkedIn profile? Resume workshop, broad storytelling workshops, and essay writing workshops. So, and interview prep workshops as well. So all of this content is there in video format. So I will be giving you access to this for a period of 3 months. Right? So this is the entire package. Turnaround time is 2 to 3 days. We are very good at getting back to you within 2 to 3 days. And our phone calls are usually set up between 1 and 6 p.m. So this is everything you need to know about our packages. In case you need some clarification, please reach out to me and I'm definitely happy to help you with that. Now, in terms of pricing, as Karthik asked, for the 3-school comprehensive, without the interview prep, we charge 1,95,000 plus GST. That comes to around 230. Okay. Interview prep is 25 plus GST extra. So that's the 3-school package. Now, for the 5-school package, we charge 250,000 plus GST. That comes to 295. And the ultra, we charge 340 plus GST. That comes to just a little over 4 lakhs and 1,000 rupees or something along those lines. So this is our fee structure. If you want, you can send me an email and I'm happy to send across a spreadsheet which contains all these details. Now, the one more thing is what do we do next? If you see yourself interested in working with us, please send me an email. We can set up a one-to-one call. We have a small token charge for the one-to-one call. We charge 2,000 rupees. But when you sign up for one of our packages, we will subtract that. Okay, so don't worry too much about it. So I'm happy to set up a one-to-one call, and then we can discuss in a little bit more personalized manner. And then if we feel like we have objectives that are aligned with each other, then we can get started to work together. And yeah, I mean, that's everything that I wanted to say. Any closing questions from anybody?
Sorry, Karthik. I'm just gonna ask you about the one-to-one call. So, what is the duration of this call?
Half an hour.
Half an hour. And what is the objective of this call?
It's actually just a chemistry call, to be honest. I mean, whatever questions you've had, I've probably answered it on email already, or you can send me some questions. But usually what happens is we chit chat for about 15-20 minutes, then I explain my packages and all. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those questions, whatever we can do in that specified time frame. But the biggest objective is to judge whether you are comfortable working with me and I'm comfortable working with you. So that's the biggest objective.
Perfect. All right.
Other than that, it's open agenda.
Okay, thank you.
I wanted to ask about the timelines.
Yes.
Is this a good time to start, or is it like we need to speed up our process, etc.?
Yeah, we need to speed up our process, especially if you're looking at R1 colleges, we need to speed up our process. If you're in a relaxed manner, I think somebody who starts in this particular week will probably be able to complete 2 to 3 colleges by end of September. Okay. In an aggressive manner and in very select cases, you may be able to do more, but that requires a lot of writing finesse from your side also, meaning we shouldn't be dependent on doing multiple reviews, right? Like I said, we don't limit the number of reviews. We take whatever it takes to get it right. If you're on the shorter end of the spectrum, obviously you'll be closing things much faster than others. If you're on the longer end of the spectrum, you'll be taking much more time than the others. Whatever timeline I'm given is the average timeline. Okay. So if you're faster than average, we can do better than average. But otherwise, I'm looking at 2 to 3 colleges by September end. The rest will be in round 2 or in October deadlines. Some colleges have October deadlines as well.
Got it. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Karthik, let's say we have written our draft of essays. Okay. So can you rephrase those drafts which we have written?
No, that is something that we don't do. See,
so
I mean,
what do you introspect within the draft? Is that
the point
format?
is, there's a few things. People are usually not clear about what to write about and how to structure their thoughts. So that high-level architecture, we will help them with. The thing about grammar and changing the language and all that, see, I mean, I've spoken to admissions officers. One of the things that they say they feel bad about very commonly is they read like excellent essays by these students, and then when they get to the interview stage, somehow the person they saw on paper is not the same as the person they're seeing in front of them, right? And why does this happen? Because, you know, it's very easy for you to get your essays written by a professional. But when you speak, only you have to speak, right? I mean, that's there. And if those two things don't match, then that's not a very good sign for the admissions committee. Okay. So that's part of the reason. The other part is, you know, I don't think I want to be the person who's writing your essay or anything. That's against my value system. You know, I think that's not the way it should be done. You should get there on your own talents because you have done good work, not because, you know, somebody else is doing the background work for you. But yeah, we help people iron out their thoughts. For some people, we provide value with career counseling. For some people, our value is with regards to school selection. For some people, our value is with regards to just giving them the confidence that they're doing the right thing. So a lot of people take value from us, but different people take different value. Any other questions? All right. I'm assuming that we've come to the end of our session today. So if you're interested in taking this forward, please send me an email. We can definitely set up a one-to-one call, chargeable as I told you. And then after that, we can definitely get started on our engagement together. I think all of you all have excellent profiles, various stages of GMAT preparation. That's the one thing that I've been able to observe from our conversations today. So please do reach out whenever you're ready, and I'm happy to take this forward with you. Okay.
Great. Thank you so much, Karthik, for hosting this.
Thank you,
Karthik.
Thank you, Kumar.
Thanks a lot, Karthik. It's been an amazing.
Thank you, Santosh.
Thank you, Karthik.